After 21 years of playing guitar with ADHD, there's a lot I've learned about this instrument and how to improve at it that I wish someone had told me sooner. So if I could go back and tell young me about it, here's what I'd say. And if you happen to be watching this and you don't have ADHD, that's even better, because a lot of this stuff will work super well for you too. Make a practice ritual. People always say that you need to make practice a habit, but when you've got a brain like ours that struggles with remembering to brush your teeth even after 34 years of doing it, that's easier said than done, dude. Couple that with picking up side quests like you're in Baldur's Gate ADHD edition. Witnesses. And starting practicing guitar can be pretty fucking hard. The key is to make it so easy to start practicing you can't avoid it, and so appealing you can't wait to do it. In other words, make playing guitar your ritual. Pick a time every day when you can practice. For me, it's right after my daughter goes to bed. Get your favourite drinks, snacks, whatever you like, head to your designated practice spot and grab your guitar. This is your time now. Every day you get to come here and just enjoy practicing guitar away from the world. I always start mine the same way. Guitar, amp loaded up, a YouTube on. Now I used to have a vape before, but now I put a flavoured toothpick in my mouth because I've quit. These are from Natura Pine and I love them so much I actually convinced them to make me an affiliate. Weird that I'm affiliated with a flavoured toothpick brand, maybe, but they've been fundamental in helping me quit vaping and now they're like a concentration aid. I struggle to play guitar without one of these in my mouth now, and you've probably seen me in a previous video playing with one of these in. They're so good, and if you want 10% off you can go to the link in the description or use code JTG. But what I'm getting at is that you need to do the things that make you happiest and help you concentrate while you're playing. After I'm set up with all the stuff that I like, I start warming up and watching YouTube videos about Warhammer painting or lore, because I'm a nerd. And I like nerdy shit, and a lot of us here are, and I like that. This ritual is a huge part of getting me to practice every day. On days when you're so overwhelmed you don't even want to pick up your guitar and you could just go to bed, having this ritual to just cool down and enjoy some time for yourself is massive, especially for your guitar playing. If practicing guitar becomes your ritual for a bit of calm to look forward to, then the battle's already won, dude. Know what you're going to practice beforehand. For the last 7 years, I've been practicing guitar almost every single day, and I still fall into this trap, but the days I don't help me improve so much quicker. My guitar's set up, I'm ready to go, and I've got nothing to work on, so I just sit and noodle for an hour and then I go and do something else. If you can decide what you're going to work on at the beginning of the week or the night before, then there's no paralysis trying to work out what you should be doing when you sit down, and no arguing with like 65 different ideas all buzzing around your brain. Pick something you really want to get nailed, and then you know exactly what you should be working on every time you plug in. Play anything for 2 minutes. Sometimes you just don't know what you want to do, and that can be a dopamine blocker in itself. When you don't know what to play, sometimes it's probably better to just not play anything at all, right? Psych! Playing anything is better than nothing, dude. Just sit down and make some noise for 2 minutes, enjoy yourself and let your brain work it out on its own. After that 2 minutes, you'll be in guitar mode and you will have either subconsciously worked out a direction you want to go, or you'll have the motivation to choose one. It's all about just starting. Be smart with your practice time. Dude, there has never been a time in my life where I've had less time to practice guitar. Right now, I've got more responsibilities than ever. A beautiful daughter who needs me at every waking moment, and I'm gonna be there because she's the most adorable and important person in the world. My guitar coaching service, link below if you need some personalised guidance. This channel to write and make videos for, a relationship to maintain, work, exercise, and a Warhammer pile of potential that somehow keeps getting bigger. I'm sure you know the feeling, but it can be so overwhelming when there's so much shit that you need to get done and you still just want to get better at guitar. So when you do practice, don't waste your time. Split your practice into chunks, and if you need to, use a timer for each task. Got a lick you're working on? Focus on it hard for 15 minutes, and when that timer goes off, move on to your next thing. I promise you, 15 minutes a day on one focused task is so much better than an hour a day just noodling. Take breaks before you get bored. ADHD brains like ours are motivated by novelty. That's why I can never quite decide which Warhammer faction I want to commit to.
And I promise I'll try to talk about Warhammer less in this video.
Unfortunately, that means what you were interested in practicing yesterday and so stoked to be working on might be the most f***ing boring thing in the world today because it's just not new anymore. The thing that happens to me when I reach peak boredom is my brain switches off. I'm just not interested anymore. I get tired and I want to go to bed. And I only just learned out that that's something called intrusive sleep. Now you can push through it, but it fucking sucks. So what I'd suggest is take a break before you get bored. If you can feel yourself starting to get worn out while you're practicing, take a little bit of time to recharge. Play something different, just noodle a little bit and watch some YouTube or go and grab a snack. Just don't let yourself reach the tipping point where your brain says no, because for the rest of that session you're going to be fighting yourself not to put the guitar down until you finally do. Perfection doesn't exist. One of the other big motivators for people like us is challenge. If someone says we can't do something, you better fucking believe that we're going to try our best to do it, and that can be a double-edged sword. It means we're often perfectionists and we will fucking burn ourselves out trying to get our playing to 100%, but perfection doesn't exist on guitar. Even the best players in the world still fuck up because it's just the nature of the instrument. 6 strings laid out in an odd way like tripwires to be fumbling over, wrong frets to it, constant string noise to control. If you aim for perfection, you will never get further than 99% consistently. So aim for it, but don't beat yourself up when you make mistakes, and definitely don't give up. You need to keep trying over time and just trust the process. Have goals. When I was a kid picking up guitar for the first time, I couldn't play for shit. I didn't have any real natural ability, but I knew one thing: wanted to. So I spent hours every day. The hyperfocus had me practicing guitar every night because I wanted to be fucking good at this instrument. I instinctively had a dream, a goal, so I knew what I needed to be working on and it was easy to play. But there have been plenty of times in my life where I didn't have that and I barely played. There was no motivating factor, and as a result I knew I loved the guitar but I just didn't want to play it. And I still have some days where I don't want to play guitar and I'd rather be sat in my pants playing Mario Kart, but now I've got goals. YouTube and music. I've just put out the Ink EP, which is my third, and now I'm going to start writing for an album. I'm working on this channel with every spare moment that I get. As much as I would love to tell you that passion keeps me playing, that's not the whole truth for most guitar players. It's hard fucking work, so you need a goal, you need a direction to channel your passion into, because otherwise we'd all take the easy option. That's why so many people finish work, crack open a 6-pack of beers and a bag of Doritos until they go to sleep every night, then they do the exact same thing again and achieve precisely all with their existences. And that's fine for them if that's what they want to do, but is it for you? But remember to enjoy yourself. That said, this is something that I have to constantly remind myself of. You don't have to be grinding to improve all the time. If you're anything like me, then it's quite easy to get obsessed with the result and you start to feel a bit guilty when you're not working on something, but you don't have to be doing that all the time. Take some time to just enjoy the instrument freely. Play the songs that you love or run through the licks that you've played a million times before. Sit and noodle with your family in front of the TV. Play a guitar. Have fun. That's what the word means. If you don't feel like being the David Goggins of guitar practice today, then f***ing don't be. Just have a good time.
Who's gonna carry the riffs?
Record your playing. I didn't record any of my early guitar playing, and that's a huge regret for me. No one ever took any photos of me. I didn't have a way to video record my practice. I have no real history of my guitar playing before I was about 16 years old and my first band had someone take some phone videos. They are on YouTube, but I'm not telling you where because they're horrendous. But maybe I will review one of my first gigs if that's something you want to see. Beware though, it's incredibly cringe. But aside from the memories, recording your guitar playing is an instant way to see yourself from the viewer's perspective and gives you a new way to gauge your guitar playing. It sounds weird because you can be playing something and thinking you're absolutely nailing it, but when you see it from the viewer's position, it's quite obvious that some things need to be fixed. Give it a try, and also, you'll end up with a cool bank of memories that you can look back on in a few years. Repeat things way more than you think you need to. For brains like ours, working memory will always present challenges. When you consider that working memory is crucial for temporarily holding information, anyone can see how that might be difficult for someone with ADHD trying to learn guitar. The more technical a guitar part gets, the more little pieces there are to memorize, and the whole point of learning a guitar part is for it to become second nature. So you're fighting an uphill battle from the very start, but it can be done. You just need to repeat the parts you're trying to learn way more than you think you need to. Take the section that's giving you trouble and give your brain the best chance to file it under muscle memory by repeating it so much that you feel like you can't get it wrong. In fact, that's where a lot of people would actually stop practicing the riff when they got to that point, but that's really the part where you need to start playing it even more. The neural pathways in your brain get stronger and stronger for every single run through of that song or lick that you're learning, so repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. Strengthen those neurons. Big goals equal lots of smaller ones. Sometimes we shy away from learning the hard stuff that we know will make us a better player because of the overwhelming thought of how hard it will be. It's way easier to put it off and just play the stuff we already can play, so a lot of the time we do that instead. Well, take that hardest song you want to learn and just look at it for a second. How much of it is actually hard? Could you tackle just the verse part? Do you think it's attainable if you just slowed it down a bit? What I'm saying is that you can take every massive goal you've got and break it down into much smaller, easier parts. I just posted a cover of an interval song that I've been putting off learning for so fucking long because I know that there are little parts in that song that I was going to struggle with. When I finally decided to start learning the song, I broke it all down into these little manageable chunks that I'd cover over a few weeks, and it became this exciting challenge for me to just constantly work on until I got it. Now I can play the fucking song. It's not perfect, but I am proud of it. Forgetting songs you know is normal. I used to beat myself up a lot for forgetting songs that I'd already learned. I'd decide to play something that I'd already put the work into learning and absolutely butcher it. Immediately the feelings of being a shit player would creep up and I'd beat myself up because I'd feel like I took a step back, and no one ever explained to me that it's completely normal to forget and relearn songs. Unless you're actively working on keeping a library of songs that you can play in your brain, then it is totally normal for the old stuff to be pushed out when you're learning new things, and all you're really left with is like these little fragments of songs floating around your head. Even the best players in the world need to relearn their entire sets before they go on tour, and that's actually super beneficial. When you forget a song, your brain still has that information stored. It's just the pathways between your brain and hands need refreshing, so relearning that song actively strengthens your knowledge of it. The more you relearn a song, the stronger your ability to play it gets. So instead of feeling shame that you forgot something and feel like a the more you relearn a song, the stronger your knowledge of it becomes. So instead of feeling any shame because you forgot something you already learned, you should feel some pride in the fact that you're actively making yourself a better player. Learn things you actually love. Learning guitar can be hard if you're doing it wrong, and nothing can snap the ADHD brain out of wanting to learn guitar than something being something fucking boring. But sometimes it can be hard to avoid the dry stuff. Most of the educational guitar content on YouTube revolves around practicing different exercises and licks. And if that's all there was to guitar, then who the f would want to play it? Granted, there is some merit to it. Doing exercises and working on individual aspects of technique is valuable, but nowhere near as valuable as being excited to play. So when you're choosing what to work on, choose the stuff that you love. I guarantee that if you focus on learning the songs that you absolutely love, you'll get way more out of it than focusing on just a single technique for days on end. Music is the point, and you will learn so much more by emulating the player that you're learning from. Steal from your favourite players. Sticking with that idea, it's time to steal.
The secret ingredient is crime.
When you feel like learning songs and participating in the music of your favourite guitar players isn't quite cutting it for you, it's time to scour their catalogues and find the licks and parts that you would love to be able to play, and then you're going to steal them. For instance, if you wish your legato playing was better and you love Joe Satriani, then there is an absolute treasure trove of licks that you can take. Grab one of the licks that you like the most and practice it in isolation in your warm-ups or during your practice time. Adding this lick to your repertoire will become another tool that you can pull out while you're playing guitar. It'll make your technique even better, and I can tell you from experience, being able to say, fuck yeah, I can play that Satriani lick or intervals lick or whatever is fucking awesome. That'll make you feel closer to the level of the guitar players that you care about and keep you pumped to play. The leaderboard tactic. You know Guitar Hero, right?
Don't vacuum! Don't vacuum! Fuck!
It was huge when I was a kid, and me and my friends used to play it all the time. I remember one night specifically, I was at an house party with my friends. It was rammed. Everyone was drunk. Legally or not, who could say? But there was Guitar Hero 2 hooked up to the TV in the living room. All night, me and my friends were just ripping through songs, click-clacking away on them little plastic guitars to try and get ourselves to the top of the leaderboard on all the songs. And I can tell you, it wasn't easy at points, especially as more beers got sunk, but every time we got to the top of that leaderboard, the feeling was fucking awesome. You can do that with your own guitar playing. Take a lick that you're trying to get up to speed and imagine you're on a leaderboard. At the very top of that leaderboard is the player who wrote the lick playing it up to speed and cleanly. Now, all the other attempts on the leaderboard are the past versions of you. Now you've got a challenge to beat your previous score, or more appropriately BPM, until you can meet the player at the top spot. With every better attempt you make, you get closer and closer to taking the title. Give it a try. Accept you'll sound bad at first. ADHD and low self-esteem go hand in hand, and that sucks. Turns out facing challenges all your life and not really knowing why can really fuck up your self-perception. Who'd have thought? So we compensate, right? We try to make the things we do the best they can be to avoid any negativity. And when they aren't as good as we want them to be, we beat ourselves up. That's a problem when it comes to guitar. The thing is, we need to be accepting of ourselves and just understand the fact that when we're brand new to something or trying to pick up a new skill, that we won't sound good and we're gonna suck at first, and that's totally fine. We'll make mistakes, we might even have some real trouble internalising the parts. That's all part of it, dude. The way I like to think about it is I don't allow myself to suck in so many other areas of my life. I constantly hold myself to standards that my fiance and my best friend are always telling me are insane, and they always tell me to go easier on myself, so I try and let myself suck at guitar. If I'm struggling with something, that's good. I can be as shit at guitar as I need to be until I've practiced it enough, and it don't matter. No one cares. Like, I just put that cover of that interval song up and I'm proud of it, but it's live, it's one take, and I made some mistakes. Doesn't matter, I still did it. Sometimes it's just nice to take the pressure off and tell yourself that it's fine to not be good at something right now. Nothing's gonna explode. Don't compare yourself to players with different brains and more time. This is a huge one. People will always tell you that comparison should be avoided, and they're totally right, but it makes even less sense when people with brains like ours are comparing ourselves to players with completely different brains and loads more time. They're set up for success and we're kind of set up for failure when you look at the task. I mean, learning guitar and getting to an high level requires so much concentration, time, patience, repetition. I mean, doing the same thing over and over again for hours on end. It's all the shit that our brains switch off to. So if you happen to compare yourself to someone who just isn't wired up like us, then you're going to end up feeling bad. That said, people like us seem to be kind of common in the guitar space, so if you do need someone to compare yourself to, then find a player you love and really analyse how they play and how they practice. Comparison to them might teach you a lot, but just don't compare yourself on skills. That's never a good idea. Guitar's frustrating, so be kind to yourself. Guitar is a frustrating pursuit, dude, just by its nature. When you hear the end result of another player's hard work, like a song that you fucking love or a solo that you think is amazing, then it's like a wonderful fucking thing, right? That's what guitar should sound like. Well, why in the fuck do I have to sit here for hours and hours and hours sounding like bums and still not getting the part down? Why can't I sound like that? I hate to break it to you, dude, but it never gets any easier. Like I said, I've been playing 21 years through ups and downs, working my way through it until I've got to a point where I feel like I'm a solid player. But there are still points where it's frustrating because I can't play a single lick or riff or something that I really want to get. And then the old wonky brain fires up and goes, dopamine's low, bro, maybe you should go and paint some warhammers or something. But my brain, when it does that in its own roundabout way, is trying to do the thing that I'm not. It's trying to be kind to me. See, what comes with all the low self-esteem and the crippling pressure we put on ourselves is an inbuilt need to burn ourselves out just doing the most mundane daily tasks to say that we're not a failure. So when guitar does the same thing, the frustration kills our momentum, but we fail to acknowledge the fact that playing guitar is all the things that our brain struggles with. Patience, repetition, sunk time, difficulty, concentration. When your brain tells you that it's getting hard, use that as a reminder. Be a little kinder to yourself, laugh off the negative feelings. Remember what you're trying to achieve and focus on the challenge, not the frustration. Finish something. For the longest time, I just played guitar. I ripped through stuff that I could already play and I just noodled every night thinking I was getting better, until I actually started to write my own music, and then I faced a challenge that I just wasn't prepared for. Suddenly, I had all these gaps in my playing and my knowledge that made making progress a real struggle. So I started learning the things that I needed, absorbing all the information that was going to help me reach my goals, and it led me to one of the biggest revelations that I've ever had in my guitar playing. Just fucking finish one thing. If you're battling with a project, finish it. With executive function related issues, you need to prioritize making sure the brain's reward system gets what it needs when you finish something. Otherwise, you just create this like brain demon that all it expects is the struggle with no payoff. If you let that monster become a thing, gradually it will... One of my lights has gone off. Gonna have to do this no lights, I've got things to say. If you let that monster become a thing, gradually it will talk you out of ever completing something. But if you actually finish something, the reward center of the brain lights up and it tells you, one, you actually can achieve something if you put the effort in, it helps you remove some of that self-doubt. And two, it'll help you get through every other project that you undertake. Obviously, don't battle your way through something that you just cannot see the end to or something that you're not enjoying, because that is torture. But if you know the potential for something something to be proud of is there, then just finish it. Just like I'm gonna finish this video with no likes when that green one goes out. Accountability helps. You can take this bit of advice or leave it, but I would recommend you consider it regardless. Using accountability is so peak in terms of getting our brains into gear, dude. You've almost certainly done this before, but one of the few ADHD superpowers is being able to pull a massive piece of work like an assignment or a school project or something like that out of our ass the night before it's due. We'll ignore a deadline for weeks, and then when it finally creeps around, there's only 12 hours left. We managed to do the work in 4, and it's amazing. If you can leverage accountability and urgency in your guitar playing, then that's just one way that you can make your brain work for you instead of against you. Tell your friends you'll show them what you're working on tomorrow. If you post your playing, tell your followers that there's going to be a new post coming soon. Promise your significant other that you'll show them the song you're working on in a couple of days. Even just telling people that you'll show them something that you're working on will help you get something finished, instead of having to tell them that you didn't work on it at all and you just sat in your pants playing Mario Kart all day. Trust me, it works. Consistency beats everything. No matter how many tips and tricks you learn to tell yourself that you will be a great guitar player, nothing, and I mean nothing, works better than consistently showing up every single day to work on your skills. Picking up your guitar every day and taking those little steps forward is huge. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to be able to tell you that there's some sort of ancient rite or spell that you can do to be able to absorb all guitar knowledge and technique, but if there is one, I haven't found it, and I'm not sure that I'd want to. Doing the work, even if I'm fighting with my brain on the regular to get it done, shows me that I'm capable of doing something. Aside from it being something that I love, it's a reminder that despite being clumsy as shit with a memory with more holes than the Game of Thrones plotline and a swarm of bees buzzing around the inside of my skull at all times, I can do something, and debatably, I'm good at it. Guitar is like meditation for me. It forces me to slow down, be present, and acknowledge where I'm at. It also gives me my downtime after dealing with everything else that happens in a day. So I show up, I do my shit, and then I let myself do the other things that feed my brain, like painting Warhammer or eating half a cheesecake in bed.
I mean, it feels so fucking good. But generally speaking, if you're doing a lot of eating in bed, your life has in fact probably fallen apart.
Just keep going. Bonus, stay regulated. This is a bonus one because it's not entirely guitar related. We all struggle with dysregulation, and it's so easy for us to be completely thrown off our path by something bad happening in the day or getting overwhelmed. And when that's happened, it's really difficult to pick your guitar up and then practice something hard. The trick is to know what helps you kick back into a regulated state of mind and make sure that you're doing it. For me, I like to run distance, 5k or 10k usually, but actually today I ran my fastest half marathon. That's pretty sick. But aside from the health benefits of running, getting out and doing that exercise is a surefire way for me to stay level. If I can run enough times a week, 3 or 4 usually, then I know I'm going to have a much better week than if I've been trapped at work with absolutely nowhere to send my energy. Now, I'm not saying you should definitely take up running if it's not something that you want to do, but I am saying that you should just try and find that thing like it that does the same thing for you. I mention Warhammer a lot on the channel because that does the same thing for me, painting those little plastic bastards. I'm not great at it, but I do love when I get into the hyper-focused state of painting a model, and it makes me feel a whole lot better. Do the things that keep your brain ticking over like a well-serviced engine rather than redlining it all the time, and your work on guitar will be so much more fruitful. For those of you that got all the way to the end, thank you. Liking and subscribing helps massively, but I've got something for you. Aside from the 10% off the delicious little pieces of wood that you put in your mouth, I've also got a secret 50% off code for my coaching service. It's designed around you. I review your playing and your goals and then build you a custom 6-week plan with exercises and a custom video explaining everything so that you can level up your playing and reach the goals that you told me you wanted. With the code, it's cheaper than 2 weeks of traditional lessons, and it's much more tailored to you. Check out the link below if that sounds like something that you could use. Thanks for watching, my dude. I appreciate you. Take care, stay safe, stay playing.